Alright guys, we are at the we are at the location of the twin tunnels. At least I believe they're the twin tunnels. It looks pretty identical to everything I've been seeing on YouTube and on Google, so yeah. I have got to do my best to not get hit right now because this road is very narrow and it really only allows for 2 cars at a time and really nothing else. So I've got to do my best to be smart and do the daytime walkthrough of what I wanted to do. But I'm going to switch over to the front-facing view now. Alright, please bear with me because I have about 3 different things that I'm using right now. And I only have 2 hands and I'm not trying to operate my phone, the camera, and the camcorder. Well, actually I'm leaving the phone alone. But, alright, here we are. This is the twin tunnels. That's the opening of the one. And actually about a minute ago the train drove by and I was going to try to record for that, but I figured screw it. I'm not going to worry about getting the sound of the train. But that right there, that is as you can see, I have no room really to work right now. These cars are not even a full car's width away from me. Actually, no, that wasn't the train. But that over top, I think that gravel right there, that's part of the gravel to the train track overhead. And now here is the first tunnel. I've got to be very careful with how I do this. Alright, this tunnel isn't so dark. This one isn't that long. But I believe, actually I think I should be okay. Let me turn on my LED. Yeah, there we go. There's some light. Alright. Yep, this is definitely one of the tunnels because every tunnel mentioned a drip, and I have to get out of the way again. There's a drip right there. And it looks like it's coming from right around in there somewhere. This is very nerve-wracking, not knowing what side these cars are coming from. There we go. I'm trying to keep the camera off of the cars. Alright. Gonna see if I can get a... See, I don't want to get too close to the graffiti on the tunnel because then it will screw up the clarity of the photos. But I don't want to stand in the middle of the road either because... Oh, that's creepy looking. I don't want to stand in the middle of the road either because obviously I don't want to be roadkill on a Saturday afternoon. Alright, now I'm going to try to get to the middle of the tunnel here. Let me zoom back out. I apologize guys, I'm forgetting to do my zoom in and zoom out. Please remember this is one of like my first or second time. One of my first times doing this by myself. So. I'm going to try to get to where the legend says this woman supposedly hanged herself. Oh, water just got on me. In the late 1800s, early 1900s. Okay. Like I said, I printed up all this stuff last night, that way I didn't have to use my phone. So I'm going to try to read all this as it appears. Alright. I should have brought my tripod, actually. Will this balance out? Let me see. It won't. Whatever. Alright. The enduring mystery of Pennsylvania's twin tunnels and the suitcase of the woman only known as Jane Doe. Now this article was published on October 8th, 2018, so almost a year ago. So I don't know what's updated on specifics or not, but the stories themselves remain the same. Alright, so the enduring mystery of Pennsylvania's twin tunnels and the suitcase Jane Doe. On a warm July day in 1995, a fisherman cast his line into the waters of Brandywine Creek, about 30 miles west of Philadelphia, and settled in for what he probably hoped would be a relaxing few hours. But it wasn't long before he realized something was off, a foul stench that was saturating the air. The fisherman traced the odor to a green garbage bag half submerged in a muddy area near the creek. I'm not quite sure where that is, but I'm assuming it's nearby. Or maybe I'm nowhere near that particular location, I don't know. When he cut it open, he made the worst possible kind of discovery. Inside the bag was a maroon suitcase, and inside the suitcase was the top half of a dead woman. The body was naked except for a blood-stained bra, and bruises near the right eye and on the back. Packed around the lifeless corpse were the remnants Packed around the lifeless corpse were the remnants of the life of the dead woman. Were the remnants of the life of the dead woman might once have lived. A denim blouse, a headband, a quilt, bloody sheets. Police who soon began delving into what has become Pennsylvania's most frustrating cold case, the Twin Tunnels. It was not lost on anyone, not the police officers who soon arrived, nor the fishermen who found the body. That creek was the shadow of the Twin Tunnels. Just the mention of these tunnels can make the blood of Westchester locals run cold. Just the mention of these tunnels can make the blood of Westchester County locals run cold. Not just Westchester, it's Downingtown, it's the Brandywine area, it's all this general location in here. Built to accommodate the railroad tracks running above, they're in a lonely but picturesque, I'm not sure what that word is. Picturesque area just a few miles east of central Downingtown, in a spot frequented by drunk teenagers and urban explorers looking for a good scare. Two of the graffiti gray brick tunnels have been abandoned for decades, while one carries minimal traffic. I guess that's this one that I'm in right now. Part of the reason the abandoned tunnels are so eerie is that they bend so that when you enter in one end and exit, it isn't visible. It's all just a claustrophobic darkness, and that is true. It is definitely, see this right here, as best as I can get it. It is definitely a very claustrophobic mess. I thought I just heard somebody's phone going off. I hope I'm imagining things. The other reason the tunnels have such a dark reputation are the legends. For years, stories about the twin tunnels have circulated among locals. One says that a distraught young woman hanged herself in one of the tunnels while holding her baby. Now, I'm not sure if I'm in that right tunnel, but maybe I am. Hold on. One says that a distraught young woman hanged herself in one of the tunnels while holding her baby. She died when the rope snapped her neck and her infant plummeted to its death on the hard surface below. Some claim to have seen the mother's body swinging in the darkness or heard the child's cries echoing throughout the underpass. Hold on, car. Another piece of local folklore insists that a man shrouded in darkness roams the tunnels aimlessly. The phantom is said to be related to either to a father or related either to a father who beat his son to death and his battered body in the tunnel, or an Irish railroad worker who died in an accident when the tunnels were under construction. The discovery of the murdered woman in the suitcase seemed to throw the mythology of the tunnels into stark relief, especially because she seemed... There's the train, by the way. You can kind of see... You can kind of see the shadows on the top, but not really. The discovery of the murdered woman in the suitcase seemed to throw the mythology of the tunnels into a stark relief. Especially because she seemed to be such a mystery. A forensic investigation established the basics. She had been dead. Oh man! I just got water right on the paper. She had been dead for between 3 and 7 days and was between 17 and 40 years old, white or Hispanic, about 5 foot 3 inches tall, and roughly 130 pounds. There was no sign of sexual assault. Her legs appeared to have been severed after she was killed. And her death seemed to have taken place in a different location from the creek. But she had no tattoos or visible scars, and there was no identification such as a driver's license with the body. Her fingerprints did not match any found in any database around the country. That's supposed to say county or country. County seems like it would have been a better fit for that context, but whatever. The summer heat and the winter and the water of the creek had accelerated her decomposition, making her features difficult to identify. There were no leads to go on. Several months after the fisherman's disturbing discovery, another piece of the puzzle emerged. In January 1996, a jogger stumbled upon the victim's severed legs nearly 50 miles away from the Brandywine Creek. Like the head and... Damn it. Like the head and torso, sorry guys, like the head and torso, they had been wrapped in garbage bags, and there were also another trash bag nearby containing the woman's and girl's clothing. Medical examiners weren't able to match the legs and torso with DNA evidence due to the decomposition. But, hold on. But the severed right leg bone fit perfectly into the hip of the torso. Investigators were convinced the legs belonged to the woman. The press would begin calling the suitcase Jane Doe. Law enforcement professionals who have worked on the case say it's among some of the most frustrating of their careers. These are cases that bother us because we can't even begin to investigate why they're dead until we figure out who they are. Police Corporal Patrick Quigley, one of the original investigators, told the Daily Local News of Chester County in 2011. Part of the problem, Quigley said, is that adults, and I quote, adults have a right to disappear. People walk away all the time without being suspicious, and in some cases, people may not have close family or friends who would report them missing. America's Most Wanted producer David Braxton told the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Jane Doe suitcase slipped through the cracks because you don't have that advocate, that family member to keep the case alive. It is hard from a storytelling and criminal solving standpoint because you have few clues to work from, end quote. That doesn't mean the police haven't tried. In 1997, they commissioned Frank Bender, a forensic sculptor from Philadelphia, to create a clay reconstruction of the murdered woman's face. Bender had been sculpting busts of criminals and victims since 1976. His most famous creation is the sculpture of John List, who murdered his family in 1971 and was captured in 1989 after his story, and Bender's likeness of him aired on America's Most Wanted. By commissioning an image of suitcase Jane Doe, police had hoped I can't read the part. 2018, a Jane Doe found in Tennessee in 1985 was identified as Tina Marie McKinney Farmer, a woman who had been missing from Indiana since 1984. The break in the case happened after investigators stumbled across the blog post about Farmer contacted her family and ran DNA and fingerprints tests. While her identity was established, the question of who killed Farmer and why remains a mystery. There's also always a possibility that forensic genealogy, which have solved the crimes thanks to DNA entered into genealogical database, has happened. With the Golden State Killer may one day provide a break in the case. In April 2018, so a little over a year ago, the body of a young woman found in an Ohio ditch in 1981, known as Buckskin Girl for her distinctive fringed jacket, was identified in 4 hours thanks to genetic testing. I don't care about all this. Why? I'm sorry, guys. I shouldn't be reading all this stuff. A lot of this has nothing to do with why I'm even out here in this article. I should have brought my tripod. This would be a lot easier to... In the meantime, a lot of questions remain unanswered in Chester County. Who was the woman who was dismembered and discarded along the Lonely Creek bed? Why did her killer or killers dump her body near the Twin Tunnels? Were they taking advantage of the disturbing reputation of the place, thinking no one would investigate a half-submerged suitcase? Regardless of the intentions, the crime's many mysteries have only added to the area's chilling associations, a legacy that will likely linger even if suitcase Jane Doe can one day be identified. Alright, I'm going to put the camera down real quick so I can get this stuff racked up back into my... Alright. So as we can see, from what I've heard, I know I was a little bit choppy and I was a little bit rough around the edges with reading that article, and I apologize for that. I'm trying to give you guys as good of a view as possible here. Now, according to what I've read, again, if the story about the woman who hung herself in the 1800s, early 1900s is true, most people are agreeing that it was somewhere in this opening between this tunnel and that tunnel. And when she died, the baby fell out of her arms, and I'm guessing it plummeted to its death somewhere right here. And I'm guessing. Guessing it happened somewhere right in here. People are claiming you can still hear her scream at night, and you can hear infant cries at night. Some of the useless graffiti on the wall. It's on both sides too, by the way. Somebody got a little bit artistically creative and made that. I guess somebody decided to stop and see what I was doing. I guess they're not aware of what's going on. I guess they're not aware of the history of this tunnel because they just looked up and looked at what I was looking at. I'm not necessarily looking at anything particular. I'm just taking a picture of the history of it. I want to real quick try to walk through at least halfway of this tunnel. The key is going to be to stay as far to the right or as far to the left as I can. It is kind of eerie in here. I'll tell you what, it's dark as hell too. Even though it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon outside, as you can clearly see, even though it's still broad daylight outside, it's still dark as hell in this tunnel. That's what the NVG is on. Wrong button. So, that doesn't even look like brick to me. That looks like please tell me you see me. Please tell me you see me. Keep going. That's why I've got my LEDs that way. This is an interesting experience. The funny thing is, it's probably quite a regular tunnel. But because of legend and because of the history and because of all the folklore, it's what makes it seem eerie. The eeriness is probably at least 60% in your mind. I mean, I'm sure there really are some entities around here, but I don't have the stuff it takes to get that stuff yet. Alright, I'm gonna real quick. Why is it that every time I try to go and get a middle of the bridge shot, a car comes either from behind me or in front of me? Alright, and now I'm on the other side of the bridge. I need to be really careful. Damn it! Yeah, guys, this road is quite busy actually. I mean, I already knew that, but still. I need to get out of here because I'm getting too close to traffic, and I don't want to be the next case of roadkill. See real quick what I can get. Alright, I think that's good enough. I'm going to shut the camera down, shut the camcorder down. I really don't want to get killed out here and be the next urban legend of this tunnel. I looks like it could have been the back of a cop, although if it was, I think they would have stopped and asked me what I was doing.